Well, hi and welcome to my shop. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is February 4th, and I promise I won't be ranting. Yes, I've got my head screwed on tight again today. Okay, let's take a look at this tube tester. Check this out. This is old. This is really old. The hinges come off, or the top comes off. So I've had this in my shop before. I think I'm going to leave the top on because it contains all the instructions. This is a very early tube tester here. Let's take a look at it. So I have used this tube tester in the past. It sure works. We're going to give it another try. Look at this cord. What year do you think this is from? And I don't know offhand. Let's see if we can find out. Typewritten pages here. Instructions for operating the Electron tube tester. So I don't see any dates here. Take a closer look at that later. The unit comes with the chart. I believe this was all the tubes there were at the time this thing was made. There's a date. November 20th, 1934. So it's just at the point where radios are going through a dramatic change of technology and are going from being TRF to being super heterodyne styled radios. And that prompted, and there was also constant development going forward, so that prompted new sets of tubes coming out, and probably put this tube tester into the barn at that point. And just a few more years forward, and a lot of new tubes came out. There could have been addendums sent to this, but you can see the tube tester really isn't very flexible. Right? Where are all the knobs? Where's like there aren't any. There's hardly anything here. So with just a few tubes in existence, all they had to do was put some tube sockets here, wire them in certain ways, then say that tube goes in this socket, and that's about it. You just pick which socket. In fact, if you look, you can see quite clearly in the camera A, B, C, and D. And what's interesting is I look at it with my eyes. It's hard to actually see the red letters here. The black writing is actually stands out better. That's quite interesting. I keep looking up at my screen. And so what they've done is actually listed this socket, which is socket A, is good for these two tubes, 6Y5, 6Z5. This is a short test, and this is a short test H and short test K. I don't think I've ever done anything with these. What's over here? Diode. I think it's just another set of tubes. And most of the tubes go into this socket C, judging from the list. And if we look up here, we see the socket is identified here. And then the filament voltage is set here. And you pick it with like that. And potentiometer setting, which is this guy. Take a look at this control here. So we're seeing early thinking on how to test tubes. Really is what this is. So you have this fairly precise dial. I'm guessing it's a wire wound resistor under here. And you can see the different tubes are written here. So if you want to do a 2A7, you would set this to the 2A7 spot. Now it has some numbers written out here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to 100. I don't think those are values. I think those are positions. Oh, I've got a cat climbing up my pants here. He stopped. Fortunately, he doesn't get very high. So if we wanted to test, let's say, well, one of the tubes we want to test is a 53. And there it is there, 53. So we would turn this control to point there. Yeah, here he is. Don't step on this lid, cat. Okay. What are you doing? You're looking for trouble, aren't you? I can tell from the fast head movements. You're looking for anything. Give me anything, something. I've got nothing for you in here, really. I mean, look, none of this stuff is for you. Oh, here he comes again. So I have noticed the cat's moods quite distinct. They go up and down, and they're down for 18 hours a day. They are laying, sleeping 18 hours a day. The waking time, they wake up, they slowly build up to a peak. He's in the peak right now, and during the peak time, they're like this. They're running around, we got to do something. I got to find something. Show me something. Where is something? Anything. This goes on for about 15-20 minutes. And then they, maybe half an hour, then they just calm right down again and sleep. So he's in peak mode right now. Peak mode. Yeah, come on. Oh, look, I found a ball for you. Okay, I got a ball here. Hey. Don't fall. Here. Oh, distraction. Something even better than the ball. You found a fuse. Should I let him play with a glass fuse? You know what? He might bite it. Let me have this back. Hey, we're off to a good start here. Where'd the ball go? Here, look at this. You can play with this. There we go. That'll keep him occupied for a while. He's all alone. Usually his brother and him are on the same schedule. But maybe not today. Oh. I'm going to take this off before something bad happens here. Okay. So for 53, well, what do we do about the, we read the instructions. What do we do about the short? We read the instructions here. Unless otherwise specified, 100 to 125. That seems pretty wide, doesn't it? But back in the day, that's the kind of stuff that came to people's houses. The switch located on the left of the tester marked off on is for turning the tester on. When not used, always leave in the off position. That would be this. Look, it's in the on position. The small bulb located on right of tester operates as a fuse. That would be this one here. This one here. This is the switch I just threw off. Only with a number 64 auto bulb. After returning the tester on, adjust the line test meter to the center line by means of the rheostat knob located on the right of the tester. So we're setting this meter up to point at that little line, and by turning a knob, turning a knob. This knob here. No, that's this knob? Yeah. Feels like it's loose on the shaft. Short test. The tube should first be tested for short by inserting the tube in either of the sockets having proper number of holes marked short test. Adjust the line voltage meter by means of a rheostat knob to center it. Huh? Why are you adjusting the line voltage during a short test? If a tube is shorted, the small neon light bulb on the left of the tester will burn. This one here. Well, why are you adjusting this when you're doing a short test? Why is that? I don't know. Tube test. Proper settings should be made before inserting the tube. Make sure these settings proceed as follows. Insert the filament plug in the center of the tester. The jack under the tube type marked on 5.193. Set the potentiometer pointer over the tube type being tested as indicated on the potentiometer chart, which I already did. That's this guy. Proper point at which to set the potentiometer is directly over the triangular index point connected to the tube group. So there's a small triangle. Yeah, it's just fine. How I have it. Yeah, so you don't try to set it on the number. They're worried you're going to try to set it right on the word. Insert tube in the socket as indicated on markers adjacent to the socket. Press the green button. If the tube is satisfactory, the pointer will rise within the green segment. Which the green, so this is a bit of a problem here. These buttons have lost their colors. This one looks red, this one looks black, and this would be the green. Oh, look at, they wrote it. Green, black, brown. Green, press for tube test. Black, second plate. Brown, diode test. Okay. The tube is satisfactory, the pointer will rise in the green. The tube's having two plates, such as a rectifier tube, and the type 53. Oh, actually picked the tube I've got. Wow, how's that for a coincidence? Hold the green button down and press the black button for the second plate. If the two plates of a 79 tube are tested in separate sockets marked 79PI and 79P2, so plate 1, plate 2, press both buttons for each test. That's for a 79 tube. Tube sockets are lettered A, B, C, D. Cover the tester in the chart. Well, there's no numerical order. Second column designated socket, third column something or other, and blah, blah, blah. Example, 41 tube, socket 4, yeah. In the chart of the tube values, a star preceding the tube type number signifies that the diode button is to be pressed for a tube test. If meter pointer rises above 20 on the scale, tube is okay to test certain diodes. Well, let's do the 53 because, wow, 53. Oh, was that a popular tube back in the day? I don't think so. We have this lovely feature here, which we don't need. Okay, 53. So 53 appears where? Where's 53? Where are you, 53? Did I miss it? Oh, here we are. 53.1 and 53.2. So to test the 53, it's a two-part tube. So we're going to be doing one part and then the other part. We need to put this in the right bowl right away before I forget that. So look, we can look here, 53, 2.5. Do you really think it's 2.5? Yeah, you know, it's coming from a transformer, so it's probably correct. Okay, and where's the 53 tube? Who's got the 53? This is it here. No, I don't think it's 83. Hey, where'd the 53 go? Here we are. 53. Okay. So with switches off, we'll apply power and make sure the off switch is off. 110 volts. Through the dim bulbs, flip it on. Okay, I can actually adjust the voltage from externally here. So we're on the line. Do the short test. Put it in the socket it fits into. That's kind of what it said. HK. That's kind of awkward. I don't like this. You know what? We know this tube is not shorted. So I'm going to skip the short test because there it goes. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, it looks like you don't actually plug it right down. You just push it in. It's making some contacts. Nothing at all on there. Okay, so 53 is going in here. Am I right? Let's make sure I got it right. No, 53 is going in here, Tim. 53. And down you go, man. Wow, I want to go in. Because the two larger prongs are here. They're not these two, they're these two. Jeez, how do you like that? So we see it's drawn down the power on the machine a little bit, and part of that is because I have a dim bulbs operating in line, so I'm going to correct it externally again. Okay. It's heating up. Looks fine. So all we're doing is pushing the green button at this point. Just listening. Thought I heard something. Okay, green button. Oh wow, she's a good one. And the other side. Wow, she's extra good. Extra good. Wow, I don't want to shake tubes around, especially when the heaters are hot. Okay, we might as well do another one. Let's do another one. This is a great big. This is a 6B4. I don't. Can they do that? I bet you can't even do it. 6B4. No, I mean the number of tubes it does is very limited. So I have the alphabetical listing here. 6. Yeah. No, there's nothing like it on this chart actually. Nothing like it at all. So it's a really good tube tester for all these single number tubes, which I have a lot to test, but this is an awkward tester to use. And it's a go no go tester, which is okay. I'm not sure I'd really want to sit and test tubes through this. I mean, I have better alternatives to actually do it. And you know, the difference between if you're going to do 100 tubes, the difference between taking a minute and taking 2 minutes, that's almost 2 hours of effort. So this is buzzing. Let's turn it off. Don't like the buzz. Could have been the meter here. Okay, well there we are. So this is, I really didn't even name this guy, did I? Who made it? The Hickok Electric Instrument Company, Cleveland, Ohio. Back when everything was manufactured in the United States and Britain. Hickok. So Hickok is probably the biggest tube testing manufacturer, tube tester manufacturer ever, I think. Don't know. Not sure. There we are. Fantastic for such an old beast in such great condition, as often these things are, because they didn't get a lot of use. And so they can often be in good condition. Nobody wanted to throw them away. There we are. I love the handle on this. A real classic handle. Okay, well that's it for today, because from here I'm off to shovel out the driveway and go to grocery stores before the real heavy snow comes. Yeah, I think there's going to be some heavier snow around lunchtime, so my work is cut out for me. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see what's on the bench next. It's going to be another tube tester.